New Jersey Network. WNJS, Channel 23 Camden, viewer and taxpayer-supported public television.
New Jersey Network, we touch you every day.
Hello, I'm Hendrik Sneeman, General Manager here at New Jersey Network, and we're going to be taking you to the first ever Dark Shadows special, right? The first ever Dark Shadows special? All right, in just a moment, I want to tell you we are in day 7 of a 10-day fundraising campaign. We're about halfway there. We're going to see the number up on the screen in just a minute. We've got $25,635 towards our goal of $59,000, and we need to do a little better. And we're counting on you Dark Shadows fans who know very well that there's only one place in the entire New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia area that you can see Dark Shadows, and that is right here on New Jersey Network. That's just one of the reasons to support your New Jersey Network. Dark Shadows and the first ever Dark Shadows special, programs like New Jersey Nightly News, documentaries, family entertainment like the Moscow Circus on Ice or the Charlie Chaplin Theater. There, the phones are starting to ring, but there are some that aren't busy yet. We want you to call right now and support your unique, your one-of-a-kind New Jersey Network. And speaking of one-of-a-kind, my co-host for the evening, Mr. Frank Tenzar. Frank.
Well, thank you, Drex. One of a kind, eh? I suppose that's a compliment. I'm sure it is a compliment. As Drex was saying, we are presenting a Dark Shadows special program this evening. That's the kind of program that we originate, something that serves your interests, that appeals to your tastes. You're not going to get a Dark Shadows special anywhere else. This is the first ever. We produce a lot of our own programs, and even in the case of Dark Shadows, we have to pay for those programs. That's why we need your support, your dollars, your telephone calls. All the people who are here this evening to answer your phone calls are members of the Dark Shadows fan club. They came down here from, where'd you come from? Came from all over? Anybody from not in New Jersey? Well, I guess they're all from New Jersey, folks. Wait, anybody not from New Jersey here? You're from Long Island? Where are you from? From Philadelphia. So people have come from all around our neighboring area to participate in this first ever Dark Shadows special. It costs us a lot of money to do the special kinds of programming that we do, so we need your money. Please call us up, and $30 will buy you a membership, but for $40 you get some very, very special gifts. For instance, you get this Dark Shadows t-shirt. A little blood stain there, just right, and we have a nice mug for you. And the only place you can get that mug is right here at New Jersey Network by pledging $40 or more. And if you do that, if you pledge that kind of money, you'll also get this. This is a picture of your hero and mine, Jonathan Frid. Handsome fellow. Looks sort of like you. Would you come over here, sir? Do I recognize you from someplace? Are you Jonathan Frid?
Frank.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, Jonathan Frid.
Flattery will get you everywhere. That picture was taken about 15 years ago. But
still looks like you. Take a look at this.
Delighted.
Does it look like him?
Oh, take it away. Take it away.
Anyway, we'll be glad to send you a nice photograph of Jonathan for $40. Jonathan, how's it feel to be at New Jersey Network?
Well, I was here last week and the week before, and I feel like I'm at home, and especially to see all these fans here answering the phones, it's a thrill of my life.
Well, we're glad that you supported us by coming down here, and we're glad that they support us by coming down here to answer the phones, and all those phones that are ringing now. Can you exhort the people, your fans, to join us?
I can certainly say this, that for the last year and a half, this support that all you fans out there have been giving to the show has made this show tonight possible, and it has made it possible for me to brush up my Shakespeare, my Poe, my talents, and for that, I must tell you that this card here is a flyer that I sent to everybody in show business last week saying that I'm available for work. And I want to thank you people by saying this, that it wouldn't have been possible without your support. And so everybody that sends in a membership pledge, I'm going to send you a personally autographed one of these.
Thank you, Jonathan. We have to get back to Drix in a second. I want to thank everybody for calling. I want to thank Jonathan for being here. Jonathan's going to be back, of course, because we're devoting this hour to Dark Shadows and Jonathan Frid. But right now, back to Drix.
Frank, thank you very much. I want to re-emphasize what Jonathan said. He sent those flyers out. It wasn't a publicist. Jonathan Frid had those printed up. He sent them out to his friends in show business. Jonathan, thank you very much. That's how important he thought this evening was. That's his expression of support for New Jersey Network. That's why we need you to say thank you to Jonathan by picking up that telephone right now and supporting the Dark Shadows program. We've made it easy for you. It's a toll-free number. There's no charge. It'll just take 60 seconds of your time. If you're out of state, and I know we have a lot of Dark Shadows fans from Long Island and New York and Philadelphia and Delaware, some even in Connecticut, you can call collect. You can call collect if the phones are, if you are from out of state. You can charge it on your Visa or MasterCard. It is that simple. It's easy to become a member of the Dark Shadows fan club, a Dark Shadows family. You can talk to your fellow fan club members here. Now is the time to pick up the phone and say, Jonathan, thank you, and thank you to New Jersey Network for being the only station that does broadcast this program. Frank, I think we're going to take it back to you.
Just for 1 second, Drix, I just want to remind people that the Dark Shadows mug, the only place that you can get that is here on New Jersey Network by pledging $40 or more. And so this is so that you can have your favorite beverage every time that you watch Dark Shadows. Dark Shadows isn't just on NJN anymore. It can be in your living room, your kitchen, your bathroom, wherever you drink your favorite beverage. So we exhort you, please, to call us on numbers that you're seeing and to pledge at least $40. Then you get the mug or you get the Dark Shadows t-shirt. You get the picture of Jonathan Frid, and you get this flyer that I think Jonathan held up before, which is in his own right. And he'll be happy to send that to you. Please, $40 or more, you get all these special premiums. If you can only afford $30, which is the basic membership, we'll be glad to receive that, of course. Welcome to the Dark Shadows special. There's lots more coming up. Right now, back to Drix, and soon more of Jonathan Frid. Drix.
Okay, Frank, thank you very much, and thank you again, Jonathan, for coming down. These are the members of the Dark Shadows fan club. There's a fella here from Maryland. There's somebody here from Long Island. There's somebody here from Philadelphia. There are a lot of people here from New Jersey. Remember, now is the time to pick up that phone and call. This is viewer-supported television. I know you've heard that a lot. I know you think public television stations do a little too much of this, but we have to. There's a reason your support pays for these programs. It keeps them on the air. I also want to make sure you know that we are not Channel 12. We are not Channel 13. We are not some cable system, although you may be watching us on cable. We are New Jersey Network, and the only way to get the money to New Jersey Network is to send the money to New Jersey Network. Call up that number on your screen, talk to our volunteers, make your pledge, and say, yes, I know New Jersey Network is unique. Remember, not only Dark Shadows, also New Jersey Nightly News, the Uncle Floyd Show, the Moscow Circus on Ice, the Charlie Chaplin Theater, and on, shows that you can't get on commercial television and also cannot get on other public television stations. I know you think we all run the same programs. Well, those of you who are devoted fans and viewers of New Jersey Network, you know that's not true. So pick up that phone. We've got some nice gifts waiting for you, the t-shirt, the mug. Pick up the phone, become a member of the New Jersey Network. Now, Frank and Jonathan have put together a very special show. We want you to stay tuned to the first Dark Shadows special coming up now.
Good evening. You know, a lot of people are tuned into New Jersey Network tonight, and I would like to believe it's because all of us are on the air fundraising, but I know better. There's a whole raft of Dark Shadows fans out there, and they're watching because our special guest tonight is Barnabas Collins, otherwise known as Jonathan Frid. Mr. Frid will be talking with us later about his career and, of course, about Dark Shadows. But I'd like to start this evening's festivities with a look at Jonathan Frid not as a vampire, but as a skilled, classically trained actor. Mr. Frid has put together a one-man show he calls Genesis of Evil. Herewith, then, without further ado, Jonathan Frid in a dramatic presentation of Edgar Allan Poe's classic tale of the macabre, The Telltale Heart.
Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible for me to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He'd never wronged me. He'd never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. With what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh, so gently. And then when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed, so that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. When my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously. Oh, so cautiously. Cautiously, for the hinges creaked. And I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night just at midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea. Perhaps he heard me, for he moved in the bed suddenly as if startled. Now, you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shutters were close fastened for fear of robbers. And so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it on steadily, steadily. I had my head in and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up on the bed crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle. And in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watch beetles in the wall. Presently I heard a slight groan, and then I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not the groan of pain or of grief, oh no. It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew what the old man felt. I knew the sound well. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since that first slight noise when he had turned in the bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He'd been saying to himself, "It is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor. Or it's merely a cricket which has made a single chirp." Yes, he'd been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain. All in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of this unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily.
until at length a single dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot from out the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all a dull blue with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray as if by instinct precisely upon the damned spot. And now have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over-acuteness of the senses? Now, I say there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But even yet, I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could to maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. Yet for some minutes longer, I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst. And now a new anxiety seized me. A sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes, the heart beat on with a muffled sound. At length, it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. If you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scantlings. I then replaced the boards so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I've been too wary for that. A tub had caught all. When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own and a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they chatted of familiar things. But ere long, I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But still they sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained definitiveness until at length I found that the noise was not within my ears. Oh, no doubt I grew very pale. But I talked more fluently and with a heightened voice, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I arose and argued about trifles, but the noise steadily increased. But what could I do? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, but the noise steadily increased. Oh, God, what could I do? I raved, I swore. But the noise arose over all. It grew louder, louder, louder. And still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard it not? Oh, mighty God, no. They heard. They suspected. They knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. Anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I would scream or die. And now, again, hark! Louder, louder, louder! Villains, I shrieked, dissemble no more! I admit the deed! Tear up the planks! Here, here! It is the beating of his hideous heart!
Wow. Edgar Allan Poe. Thank you very much for that performance, Jonathan Frid, and thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome.
The first time I ever heard of that particular story, the Edgar Allan Poe Telltale Heart story, I was a kid. I was very small. I had a radio beside my bed. I was living in New York, and at midnight on Saturday nights, a guy who called himself the Voice in the Night used to read literature like that, and it was very, very spooky stuff. And when I heard that, I must have been perhaps 10 or 11 years old, it really triggered a response. I didn't sleep for 2 weeks afterwards. But what happened beyond that is that it piqued my interest in that kind of literature, which I had never before been particularly interested in. How did you get interested in it?
Well, ironically enough, it wasn't Edgar Allan Poe, except that I used to go to the movies on Saturday afternoon. I think it was 10 cents in those days. And I'd spend the whole afternoon going from Tarzan to Dracula to the Pit and the Pendulum, and you always got some Poe somewhere along the line in those days. And then along came Vincent Price and made his mark with Poe. This is my first real attempt to do anything with Poe. I haven't really read all that very much of his work.
But your general interest in things occult and things...
well, it was very average. It was very normal for a youngster when I was young. I remember my friends and myself, we used to pick the spookiest house we could find and go after each other as the Frankenstein or Dracula. Somebody was it. And the person who looked most like the monster was it all the time, poor guy. But we had great fun, and we really were actors. I mean, we really thought we were for it if we were caught. And,
Barnabas Collins was very spooky, though. I mean, how did you get that spookiness into that character?
Well, I think that's just has a lot to do with had a lot to do with my first experience of any note on television or lengthy experiences on television. And I was very uncomfortable with the cameras in those days. And it worked very well for Barnabas because Barnabas was very uncomfortable with his resurrection, as it were, in a new lifetime and a new generation, and he didn't quite know where his bearings were. So as he groped to find his way in this new world and with the lie, I was finding my way with the new world of television. I had done television before, but not that much, and my background was mainly theatrical.
I think a lot of your fans will find that incongruous because there was such believability in those close-up scenes. I remember watching it, you know, in the late 60s when well, I didn't watch it often. My then wife did, though. Yeah. But she would tell me all about it. I mean, people used to just stare at that show and remember everything that went on. But I guess that the most memorable part of the show to many people was the bite, you know, that great bite.
Yes, indeed.
Yet you were uncomfortable with that. How did you make that so convincing?
Well, I didn't feel I was very convincing, but however, it's what the public sees. And by the way, the public do an awful lot of the acting because they put their imaginations to work. I always felt that those were idiotic moments, and especially because they always wanted me to show off these fangs, and I had to look right at the camera, and and by that time they could have got the cops in and caught me. It took so long for me to make them.
Right.
I always wanted to just slide in sideways from the camera, and so that they could maybe just see the touch of a fang only, if maybe nothing, just a suggestion. I always think the power of suggestion is more menacing than showing off two big, huge fangs. I always looked idiotic. But fortunately, I only had to do that about, even in the space of 4 years, probably about 3 or 4 minutes were taken up with bites, so that didn't bother me all that much. I could get on to the meaty parts of the role.
Well, you were a great biter because a lot of people remember those 3 or 4 minutes out of 4 years. You know?
Yes, that was my logo.
Did you have an experience when you put those fangs in? A lot of actors and actresses will say that the role really comes when they put the hat on or when they put the coat on. Did you change character when you put the fangs on?
No, I just felt they were a darn nuisance. And the first time I ever did it, we hadn't been practiced with it, so I had them in my pocket. And of course they went in, and I had to do it very quickly. I cannot talk with them. So I used to have to...
They were uncut, they were...
Oh, yes, you did talk in a sort of slushy way. So I always had to put them in while the camera was on the poor victim, and she would be, you know, paralyzed. That would be the shot while I was putting in these silly things. And I would get them out of my pocket, and of course they'd go in the wrong side, upside down, inside out, or whatever. And so the first time I ever did, I had to chew them up like a kid caught with gum in class, and he has to put it in the back of his mouth. And so that's how I had to do the first bite, and therefore it was the most effective bite because I wasn't able to show the camera. I had to go in sideways and do it while I had to chew up these silly fangs. I thought they were going to fall on her face. So we had to learn.
It would have been a great scene.
Yeah. So, well, there were enough funny moments that we didn't need any more.
You know, what I'm curious about is how you managed to bring so much humanity to that role, because I think a lot of people would say that it wasn't so much the horror that was important in the show as it was the humanness. I mean, people rooted for Barnabas.
Well, I had...
and do root. I should put that in the present tense.
Well, I grew to like the character very much in the sense that he was never, as I say, that he was very seldom acting as a vampire. His main action, his main motive for most of the time I was on the show was for Barnabas to cover up his tracks. It was the great lie he was playing all the time, trying to be somebody else, that he wasn't trying to be a descendant of the original Barnabas, which of course he is. So there was that, and then also he developed into a romantic character. He had many facets to him in the end. At times I had to play vulnerability. I was an aggressor. I was passionate. I was cunning. I was a manipulator.
And I have to be a manipulator, but we'll see more of your cunning, passion, et cetera, when we come back. Sorry, we have to take a break right now, but when we return, you'll see more of Jonathan Frid and more performance video, too. So please stay with us.
New Jersey Network, we touch you every day.
We are interrupting this Dark Shadows special for just a couple of minutes to bring you this little fundraising break. I'm Hendrik Sneeman, the general manager here at New Jersey Network, and this is your opportunity to say, that is a great show. Thank you for producing it for me. That's just one of the things we've accomplished in the last year, the first ever Dark Shadows special. A couple of our other accomplishments, we've won 2 Emmy Awards, 2 awards from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, 6 out of 7 first-place awards for news from the AP broadcasters. That's right, that's the way to say thank you. Make those telephones ring. The number's up there on your screen. Out of state, you can call, collect, and I know there are a lot of Dark Shadows fans from Long Island and New York and Connecticut and Delaware and Pennsylvania. Call right now. And Frank Tenzar, my co-host for the evening, is here to tell you what you're going to get when you call up. Frank?
Thank you, Drix. You're going to get a lot of things, but first of all, let me make this perfectly clear. We touch you every day, but we only put the touch on you once every, what, 10 weeks, 11 weeks? Rarely. I mean, it isn't much, right? So the least you can do is come through. I mean, look at all these volunteers over here. They're coming through for us. They came here from Long Island, from Philadelphia, from all over the state of New Jersey. There's somebody from Maryland here. They're from everywhere imaginable in the metro region. And they came here just to help, and because they're Dark Shadows fans, they want your support, and that's why they're here, to take your support, to take your pledges. Please do that for us. We've arranged this as a special opportunity for you to join New Jersey Network. It means you don't have to sit down and think about it. We're here, we're saying, okay, it's time now, so let's do it. So let's do it, okay? The phones are not ringing very much right now. It's awfully quiet there. A lot of people sitting, no, the reason that they're quiet is because the phones have all rung. I'm sorry. We're all pretty busy here. Okay, forget it. You're doing a great job, and if you do a better job, here's what you'll get. For $40 or more, you can have a Dark Shadows t-shirt, which is very nice, silk-screened white on black with a little blood stain here for those of you who have a more occult approach to life. Life, is that right? I don't know. And we also have a mug, a Dark Shadows mug, and the only place that you can get that Dark Shadows mug is here on New Jersey Network by pledging to us on New Jersey Network. $40 or more will get you that. Plus, and let us not forget that, Mr. Jonathan Frid's photo, which you can do whatever you choose with. This is a real representation. As we showed you earlier when Jonathan was standing right beside me, it does indeed look very much like the gentleman himself. It doesn't look like me, it looks like Frid. You can get one of these if you pledge $40 or more. And surprise of surprise, you don't have to pay cash. And we'd rather you wouldn't send cash through the mail, as a matter of fact. Visa and MasterCard are, of course, always accepted. Wherever you send from, you can use Visa or MasterCard, and we understand that we're getting some calls from out of state. We're very pleased about that. By the way, I would like to thank the people who came down here today to be volunteers. As we told you earlier, they have come from all over this state and all over a variety of states that neighbor upon the state of New Jersey. They're here to take your pledges. Thank you very much, folks, for coming down. You're looking great. Did anybody see Vita over here? Vita is the woman in a black dress here. She's my favorite Dark Shadows fan. This is Vita, right over here. You'll probably get a chance to see her. There she is. Isn't she wonderful? Vita, you're on the tube. Wave. Say hello. Okay. There are some other people we'd like to thank, too, because it took some effort to get a number of our guests here this evening, and they came in style, let me tell you. I would like to thank the White Cloud Limousine Service. White Cloud Limousine. Doesn't that sound nice? Let's all take a White Cloud wherever we choose to go. They have several locations in the state, and also the Accent Limousine Service. And they serve New Jersey from Carteret, and those two organizations were very generous with us, and they brought our guests to us this evening. Right now, I think it's time for us probably to go over to Jonathan Frid, who is our guest of honor this evening. Jonathan's in among the phone banks and his fans. Jonathan?
Well, I came up here to have a little chat with some of my old friends from the various festivals, but they're all very busy, I'm delighted to see. Guy Haynes here, who came all the way up from Maryland to do this work tonight. I mean, somebody from Philadelphia. Where? Get busy with it. Well, somebody called. There's one phone, there's two phones, there's two phones free. Very good. You see, I spoke and it happened. Well, I wanted to say once more to all of you people that my gratitude for all of this support that you've all given to Dark Shadows is simply marvelous. And, you know, I'm supposed to say, go to your phones. All I can say right now is stay at your phones and keep trying. It seems wonderful that the response has been so marvelous. And I just hope that you will keep right on calling all through the show. And remember that there are volunteers here, and that it's very easy. You can charge your pledges. And if you give $40, you will get this marvelous mug, which I think is kind of handsome, with just that little drop of blood to accent it. And in addition to that, of course, you will get the flyer that I told you about earlier, which for you it wouldn't have been possible to even think about. I'm so grateful to you all. So just keep phoning in, and let's go to tape now for somebody else who's going to talk to you.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill. The New Jersey Network, that's viewer-supported public television. They need you. Call now. Become a supporter of New Jersey Network today. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Mark Hamill. I am here with the self-proclaimed most expert, modern authority on modern-day vampirism, Dr. Stephen Kaplan. He is the founder of the Parapsychology Institute of America and Vampire Research Center. Dr. Kaplan, you were the guy that proved the Amityville Horror was a hoax.
That's right. There was a 3D movie called Amityville 3D. I'm supposed to fall into the pits of hell. Folks, I'm not there. I'm in New Jersey, and I'm supporting New Jersey Network for one reason. I watch Dark Shadows because people say, what is a vampire? A real, serious researcher of vampires do to relax. I watch Dark Shadows.
Well, are there really vampires? I guess that's what everybody wants to know.
Well, there are 43 physical vampires in North America, people who must drink human blood, not as a psychological manifestation, but as a real phenomena. And we just completed 2 world census of vampires around the world, and we know there are vampires. And
excuse me, a world census of vampires?
That's right. We went and back. We even interviewed people in the White House, in the government, and they were very cooperative in both the first and the last official vampire evaluation census. Yes, you need tenacity. Yes, you need nerve. Yes, you need to be very aggressive. And believe me, let me tell you, some of those vampires are crazy. Not Barnabas College.
Let me see if I understand this. You went to the White House, or maybe we can break some news here on New Jersey Nightly News. Are there any vampires in the White House?
The information is confidential. When we have to protect the...
I would imagine so.
No, really, the government was very helpful because they thought that if a vampire bites somebody, they spread maybe a contagious disease, and they were very helpful with us in that particular area. But
you're evading the question, Dr. Kaplan. Is there a vampire in the White House?
Read my next book after the first one. My latest book, and a lot of people are here, read it, called Vampires Are. Next one is a vampire census book. And let me tell you, we talk about the murderers, the degenerates, the psychopaths, not in New Jersey, all around America and in Canada, around in Spain. And you will read it and you will realize it's no joke. Some of them are quite dangerous, really.
As the foremost authority on vampirology, I guess, in the country, in the world, why should the viewers out there who are fans like you are of Dark Shadows call up right now?
First of all, I love Dan Curtis's work. Some of the finest actors came from this whole Dark Shadow scene. There's some of them appearing in modern soap operas today. The music is brilliant, etc. And if you're a fan, watch this. If you're not a fan, and you will absolutely enjoy it. I want people on Long Island. I know you watch it because I watch it. In Pennsylvania, I know you watch it. I was on NBC 2 weeks ago for People Are Talking. I want all you people who see me now, help support New Jersey Network, because believe me, it is worthy, and this is a great show. These are a great bunch of people, and I want everyone else to join me, and I thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kaplan, and he's going to send somebody that you might not like to see visit you to come see you if you don't support it, right?
No comment.
No comment. Now over to Frank Tenzar. Now here's the positive reinforcement for what'll happen if they support us, right? The mug, the shirt. Yeah, the positive. The positive stuff.
If there is a vampire in the White House, he works for the IRS. There's no doubt about it. Okay. Now, they give us cards here. They tell us what to say, okay? It says here, call now, do it now, don't sit back and wait for others. We are waiting for your call. Are we waiting for your call? There's one person that's waiting for your call. Only one, but it's a phone. Don't miss an opportunity. Call us, please. The number is on your screen all the time. You can call us. Memberships start at $30, and for that $30, you will get our network magazine every month, which will tell you all about the programs that are coming up and about the personalities that you'll be meeting on New Jersey Network. And it'll give you some idea of what goes on behind the scenes at production at both PBS and locally at New Jersey Network. People who work for us, what their jobs are, how we put programs together, how we decide what programs to do. And one of the reasons, obviously, that we choose one program over another is because we believe that your interest tells us to choose one program over another. That's what this is about. This is public broadcasting. You have all the input, but you got to pay your dues too, and that's why we're here this evening. I really hope that you will pledge. If you pledge $30, you'll get the network magazine, which has the program guide. You'll receive a membership card also, which helps you, which reduces the price of certain items that you may be interested in, like restaurant meals, computers, you name it. There's somebody somewhere who will give you a discount if you have a New Jersey Network membership card, and you can get a tag for your luggage. It says New Jersey Network. Tell the world that you're proud, wherever you go, wherever you fly, to be a member of New Jersey Network. For a pledge of $40, this is the Dark Shadows Festival, so we got Dark Shadows stuff for you. We got a mug, and the only place you can get this mug is on New Jersey Network. If you pledge $40 or more, you will get the Dark Shadows mug with a little drop of blood, which tells us what your favorite beverage is, or you can opt for the T-shirt, so you can tell all the world what's going through your veins, okay? All of these for either of these rather, for $40 or more, and a picture of Jonathan Frid. And if you pledge $60 or more, you get the whole kit and caboodle. You get the mug and the shirt, and you get the Jonathan Frid picture, and you get the Jonathan Frid flyer, which he signs. It's terrific, isn't it, Drix?
It is, Frank, and right now I'm going to go to a very special friend. She is Ann Wilson. She ran the Dark Shadows Festival this year. She is a great friend of the network, of Jonathan Frid's, of this series. Ann, thank you for coming tonight. I understand you have a little presentation to make.
On behalf of the Dark Shadows Festival, I want to thank the New Jersey Network for running the series, for supporting the Dark Shadows Festival, and especially for sponsoring the first ever Dark Shadows special tonight. Right now, we are very pleased the festival is to present you with this check representing proceeds of the festival. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Show them the mug.
Call in, pledge, get the mug. Get the mug, come on.
Okay, thank you very much. Frank, what else do they got over there?
Oh, we got everything. You've seen the T-shirt and you've seen the mugs, right? Everybody's seen the T-shirt and the mugs? Let's take another look at them because they're pretty darn attractive. I mean, I'm going to run away with one of these. I mean, I can tell that if I am seen on the street with this, I'm going to stop traffic. Can we see the T-shirt, please? It's right here. Maybe we can't see the T-shirt. Maybe I'll just hold it up. Ah, there it is, the little drop of blood. I mean, this tells everybody what's going on in your life and in your veins. And the mug, of course, is right next to that. For $40 or more, you can receive either of these wonderful gifts. And leave us not forget the Jonathan Frid photograph. I mean, who could ever forget the Jonathan Frid photograph? You can have your own picture of Jonathan Frid, which will carry you wherever you want to go. Just in case you don't have Jonathan Frid with you, at the moment, you have the photograph. If you're not watching Dark Shadows, you have the photograph. Drix, one more word from you?
Okay, Frank, the Dark Shadows fans are responding as they always do, not only to Jonathan Frid and that great special that he and Frank are working on, have worked on, that we're going to be taking you right back to, but to the series and to the knowledge that this is the only place you can see the show. Remember that, whether you're from Long Island, whether you're from New York or Pennsylvania or Delaware, this is the only place you can see Dark Shadows, and your way of helping us with the ratings is to call up. That is our rating. That's how we know what shows to keep on and what shows to take off. It's by people like you getting up, picking up the phone and joining New Jersey Network and saying, we like this show, we don't like that show. We know you like Dark Shadows because you've been keeping those phones busy, so let's keep them going. There's a couple back there not busy now. We want you to call up right now and become a member. The toll-free number's up there. Out of state, call, collect. We're going back to the show right now. Copy that number down and call up as soon as you can. And now, back to the Dark Shadows special.
Thank you. Welcome back. Suspend your disbelief, if you will. Just imagine that we are not in our living rooms or in our television studios. No, we are in England now, on a battlefield. It is the night before a climactic battle. King Richard III is asleep, but his rest is fitful. He dreams terrible nightmares. The ghosts of those he has dispatched on his way to the throne come back to haunt his conscience. A battlefield, a parade of nightmares, Shakespeare's Richard III, as interpreted by Jonathan Frid.
Give me another horse. Bind up my wounds. Have mercy, Jesus. Soft, I did but dream. Oh, coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me? The lights burn blue. 'Tis now dead midnight. Cold, fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I fear? Myself. There's none else by. Richard loves Richard. That is, I am I. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly. What, from myself? Great reason why. Lest I revenge. What, myself upon myself? Alack, I love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I have done unto myself? Oh, no, alas, I rather hate myself. for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain. Yet I lie, I am not. Fools of thyself speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings in a several tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. Perjury, perjury in the highest degree. Murder, stern murder in the direst degree. All several sins, all used in each degree, throng to the bar crying all guilty, guilty. I shall despair. There is no creature loves me. And if I die, no soul shall pity me. Nay, wherefore should they? Since that I myself find in myself no pity to myself. Methought the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and every one did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard.
Again, thank you. Wonderful performance. A lot of actors and actresses say that no matter how many roles they perform, they always get their inspiration from Shakespeare. Is that true of you?
Oh, I think so, very much so, especially for roles such as Barnabas. And so many people have said to come from Shakespeare's soap opera. I think soap opera, especially our soap opera, was operatic and needed that kind of Shakespearean approach to it. The two roles that certainly influenced Barnabas were Macbeth, which I played years ago, with his conscience. He was a conscience-stricken person from the very beginning. Richard III also influenced Barnabas in a different sort of way. He's the manipulator for most of the play, but towards the end, his conscience catches up with him.
So he's
just seen.
A lot of critics will say that Richard III is really not a guilty person, but you see it otherwise.
I see it otherwise. He was a very guilty man.
But I think you probably would. I want to read you a quote that you gave a newspaper man in Canada not too long ago that I just read. You said to him, "There's good and bad in everybody I've ever met, and there's good and bad in every role. And if there isn't, I'll put it there."
I'll put it there indeed.
Why would you do that? How does that enhance a role?
Well, because it gives him more facets. You have more to play. I like to play between two poles. I don't like to pick one strong characteristic. I like two poles to play. I think everybody in life is that way. There's the good and bad in every person I've ever met, without exception.
Well, how do you find the bad side of, I mean, obviously you're not going to do the remake of Mary Poppins, you know. Let's take Mary Poppins. How would you find a bad side in her?
Well, thank God I don't have to play
Thank God you don't have to do that.
But as far as Richard was concerned, it was a question of finding something that was sympathetic in him, because Shakespeare really doesn't help you. But he's fascinating. He's absolutely fascinating in his manipulation of people. And then he can become slightly sympathetic, not really, but empathetic for the audience. And when he comes out of that nightmare and he realizes that he's in a void without soul, no one to love him, he's alone, he is damned. And anyone who's totally damned, I think, can wring a little sympathy, just a little, from the audience.
Well, just as you have been quoted as saying that if there is no bad in a role, you'll put it there. I understand that it is also true that if there's no good in a role, you'll put it there, too. Yes, I understand that Barnabas was supposed to be a ghoul and turned out quite otherwise.
Yes.
Did you have a fight about that? Did you have a hard time?
No, I think that we agreed on that from the very beginning. We fought over the bite, but that wasn't, too much. But no, I think we worked together harmoniously on that. There were a couple of writers were extremely interested in making him a sympathetic person, or at least interesting. Mm-hmm. Not just the cold, bloodless look that Bela Lugosi had, which was beautifully danced and choreographed, I thought. I was never that kind of very graceful in my movement. So I was trying to play an inner life. He was guilt-ridden like an alcoholic.
He didn't really...
I thought of him as an alcoholic almost, with all the problems of alcoholism.
Trapped by his own ethos, trapped by his own character?
Exactly, exactly. So it's interesting.
Did you take any of that away from that performance? I mean, you did it for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Did you learn anything about guilt? over that period?
Oh, I don't think you learn anything, but you get rid of a lot. You can play out all of your inner tensions. That's one of the great beauties of being an actor, I feel. You get applauded for getting rid of all of the evil that's within you, and you play it out, and you play it right at the audience, and you get applauded for it. It's a beautiful profession to be in.
It's a lot safer than taking it out on the people close
Exactly,
to you.
exactly.
Enough of Barnabas. What about you personally? What about your career paths for the future? Where are you headed?
Well, I'm going in a new direction. I'm starting life all over again, and I won't tell you how old I am. But this time, I'm going to manage my own affairs instead of just going around and taking whatever jobs are thrown at me. I'm going to develop this one-man show I've been doing at Dark Shadows festivals called Genesis of Evil, and I'm going to take it away from emphasis on Dark Shadows and make it more universal for a universal audience. It may keep the same title. I may do a theme on something like the death of kings or famous murders, and then I could do a few presidents if I open it up.
So it's really wide open for you.
Yes, but it's the one-man show I love doing, and the concept of it is very exciting to me, and I'm planning to develop that right away and get it on the boards this spring. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to do it yet, whether it be off-Broadway, off-Broadway, the road, colleges.
I am sorry, but I have to interrupt you right now because we're running out of time. But with what little time we have left, I wonder if you have anything you'd like to say to your fans.
Well, yes, I have something to say, and I might use the words of a fan in the form of a poem that I used at the end of the Genesis of Evil as a sort of farewell. It's this young lady who, in a remarkable way, puts herself into the mind of Barnabas as he might answer her queries. And she puts a series of questions to him, and he answers, he reflects on each question. For instance, he says, "Am I evil? Well, perhaps I am to your young and innocent eyes. But to my bleary eyes, definitions have become blurred. Black and white have changed into a somber gray, and I have found that good and evil are very often the same thing. Now the focus and concepts have become lost with the lapse of infinite time. Do I have a soul? Yes, though you won't believe it. When I was a young man, still naive and innocent, it shone with the brilliant radiance of its own light. Now blackened beyond repair by criminal acts committed in my grief and rage, I have found it. I have attacked and murdered too many innocent people for my own protection. And though I hate myself for it, I find it's impossible for me to stop. Inflicting pain and often death is now a habit of mine. And though what is left of my once innocent soul cries out with great horror and fear, my evil soul relishes pain. I am forever lost. You are able to do absolutely nothing that could ever help me. I'm far beyond the help of any human being. Thank you for your time. As much as it hurts, it was good to talk about everything once again. You were very brave to come tonight, and I thank you. As does the human soul still locked within me. And before I end the show, I top it off with a little old Scottish prayer that goes, "From ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties and things that go bump in the night, good Lord, deliver us."
New Jersey Network, we touch you every day.
We hope all you Dark Shadows fans have enjoyed the first ever Dark Shadows special, and stay tuned. We're going to be bringing you class acts, Garden State profiles. My co-host for the evening, Frank Tenzar, is all over the screen tonight. He's with Jonathan Frid, live and on tape. He's in the next show. He's here with me in the studio tonight. Frank, your agent's doing a good job for you. I want to remind all of you, no raises though, not right now. I want to remind all of you that this is day 7 of a 10-day fundraising campaign. We're doing pretty well thanks to the Dark Shadows supporters and the about-to-be Class Act supporters. There's the update on your screen. We're up close to $27,000, but we need more. We're a couple of $1,000s away from where we ought to be at this time. I also want to remind you that you cannot see Class Acts on Channel 12 or 13, much less any commercial station. You cannot see Dark Shadows on any commercial station or on Channel 12 or 13. This is the only place. Frank, tell them about it.
Well, I don't have to tell them about it. They can probably see that I'm standing beside the idol of the evening, Jonathan Frid. Thanks again for coming down here, Jonathan. We had a wonderful time.
I've had a lovely time, too. I only wish that I had this mug for those promotions that I made last fall that they've been using all week. We had well, they had the New Jersey mug, but now we've got our own. I'm proud of this.
What are you drinking, Jonathan?
Not what you think it is, as I said before, and it's not gin either. It's just coffee. It's all
Okay. All right, Jonathan, I'll believe you. Jonathan, I have a question to ask you. Every time that we have done one of these, what they call begathons, we've had tremendous response from the Dark Shadows people. They seem to have an incredible amount of loyalty to you and to Dark Shadows. Any idea why that is, why the legend lives on? I mean, vampires live forever, and so apparently does Dark Shadows.
Apparently it does. No, I remember back in 71, in April 71, I thought that was it, and that I would go right back into a shell. But it never has happened. It keeps cropping up either in California. It's been played here, there, and everywhere. Right now, this is the hot spot right here in New Jersey. And I just hope that they release more of the tapes, because they do have a good following. It's just amazing. These festivals that I've been going to all year long, they're really remarkable with the amount of loyalty and the effort that they go to and the money that they shell out to go to these festivals. You know, it's not easy and it's not cheap to go to these things. They come from all over the country.
Well, I suspect that they come to see you when you're there, Jonathan.
Oh, they come to see that image, you know, I suppose. And
I think you have a brilliant career ahead as a Shakespearean actor, which is how you started.
I'm starting all over again. I feel all my friends are retiring, and I tell them I'm just starting. You know, I'm ready to go until I'm 90 or 95 or 175.
Well, your reputation may allow you to live that long.
Well, I'm supposed to live that long. I'm supposed to have already lived that long.
Well, we have the words of experience there, apparently. And the words of experience are support New Jersey Network, because New Jersey Network, I will get that right, supports Dark Shadows. This is a viewer-supported television. We depend upon you for input in many ways, for input in terms of the programming that we produce and that we buy, as in the case of Dark Shadows, and produce as in the case of Class Acts, which is coming up in about 5 minutes. We need your input in terms of the kinds of programming you want to see, and we need your input in terms of the kinds of pledges that you can offer. The people are standing by. Jonathan, you have something to say?
Can I just remind you all again that I am going to personally autograph a picture or that flyer that I mentioned earlier to everybody that pledges a membership of $30 or more. And I really mean that. And if you'll give me your name, I will even make it personal in that sense, too. So I'll get writer's cramp for a day, but that's all right. I have time.
Jonathan Frid is your friend. Remember that and send us money. Drix?
Thank you, Frank. And I have another friend here, a very good friend. He is Warren Simmons. He is the president of the Friends of New Jersey Network. He's also a board member and a commissioner here. These are your fellow board members behind you, Mr. Simmons. And commissioners. Thank you for being here. Maybe you can reach out to a few of your friends out there.
Well, we'd like to try that. I'd like to tell all of you out there that we are 16,000 strong, but there's no reason we shouldn't be 32 or 50 or 100 in a state of 7-some-odd million people. But your board of Friends of Public Broadcasting and of the New Jersey Network is here to represent all of you and to encourage you to join on so we can reach out and touch you as the time comes.
Well, remember that. They are here on the phones. They're waiting to hear from you. When you call up, these are the board members. These are the folks that run this place, and I'm sure they want to know what the viewers out there like, what they don't like.
They'd like to know that. We want to know what you like, but believe me, I'd like to see you challenge some of these people. Some of them don't write so good. Some of them don't understand numbers, so give them big ones. Let's see that we can get them confused while they're on the
That's right. Let's confuse our board members. They don't understand how to write $30, right, or 20. They like 50, 100, etc.
Big thinkers. You got it.
Big thinkers. Okay, now, I don't know if Frank's another big thinker or not, but we're going to send it over to Frank Tenzar for just a minute. Frank?
Well, I've never been too big on the thoughts, but the words just keep leaping out all the time, sort of like Jonathan. I didn't learn anything from Jonathan except how to continue to talk forever and forever. Jonathan, you're a great talker, and thank goodness for it. I want you to remember that New Jersey Network is quality programming, and that's something that you should be reminded of every time you watch the station by the quality of what you watch. However, just in case you need it underlined, we got an Emmy nomination from New York City this year. 6 out of 7 Associated Press Broadcasters Awards went to New Jersey Network. 2 National Corporation for Public Broadcasting Awards. And your membership means that we'll be able to produce even more programs of that quality to make you proud of the state that you live in, the state that can produce quality programming. Membership starts at $30. All members receive the Network magazine, complete program guide, many feature articles about folks like Drix and me and Dark Shadows and all kinds of people. So do send us your $30, or if you can't afford it, $40. And for $40, you can receive either the Dark Shadows T-shirts, or you can receive a photo of Jonathan Frid, of course, and the flyer that Jonathan said that he would autograph. For $40 or more, you can receive the mug. It's made out of black ironstone, which I suppose means it wears like iron, or perhaps you can iron with it. Hold up the mug. Okay, this is the Jonathan's been drinking out of it. Jonathan, just hold up the mug.
Pulling the studio apart. There goes a mic down the floor.
Okay, cue the mug. And
cameras are still working.
MasterCharge, Visa are all accepted. We'd like to give special thanks this evening to the folks who came here, especially Jonathan Frid, of course. Thank you, Jonathan. And to the great people who are answering the phones. Phones are still going crazy. We very much appreciate that. We need more calls, though, this evening. Another show is coming on, a show called Class Acts that we hope that you will also support. Please give us a buzz, and we're enlisting your support. We need your money. We need your input. Please call. Drix?
Okay, Frank. Frank has a little bit of a vested interest in the show coming up. It is Class Acts Garden State Profiles. It's coming your way in just a moment. His bonus for the year depends on how many people call up while the show's going on. So, if you like Frank, maybe you might not be a bad idea to pick up the phone and give a call. Here's the newest on-air member of the New Jersey Network staff, Mr. Scott Moniak. He comes to us via L.A., and Scott is our new arts and entertainment editor here at New Jersey Network. Scott, welcome.
Thank you for the welcome, and thank you for being the one who ultimately made the decision to bring me out here. I thank you very much for that. Looking forward to being a part of the team, looking forward to being a part of the network that is trying to bring you quality television, quality public television, which means we're all in this together. Please go to the phones. Please try to make a difference. When you make a difference, it's going to make a difference for all of us, because this is public television. When you win, we win. When we come up with a great program, you're the one who actually benefits from it. So we hope that you will take part this evening in joining us in our effort. Shall we throw it back to Frank?
Scott, in a minute, I want to tell people what you're going to be doing.
Sure.
You know, you watch the newscasts on New York or Philadelphia stations, and you find out about what's playing on Broadway or what's playing down at the Walnut Street Theater, maybe a dinner theater down in Philadelphia or up in New York. You don't find out what is playing in New Jersey at any of the theaters, any of the concerts, any of the cultural activities. And that is what Scott's going to be reporting on a couple times a week on New Jersey Nightly News. I think that's important for them to know.
Exactly. I think the big difference is that I am coming here with the attitude of being able to be a fan of the people who are the artists and the entertainers. And if I could take just a second of the time to promote something that I want to be doing, if you do know of that one person who is an absolutely exceptional artist, please drop me a letter in the mail. Let me know who this person is. That's the type of person I want to try to be covering and doing profiles and feature reports on the individuals who make a difference in our state, because the people who are doing the artwork in our state is not only providing quality artwork for us to look at and to enjoy, but it also is something that the people throughout the rest of the country can enjoy as well. So I'm looking forward to doing that kind of reporting.
Well, that's an excellent point. We are out to discover the hidden and the not so hidden, as Frank will tell us in just a moment, talents of the people of New Jersey. And here's another talent, Mr. Jonathan Frid, with a so-so talent, Mr. Frank Tenzar.
Yeah, Frank, he's so
really
charming.
beating up on you
It's
tonight.
so easy to work with him.
But I don't talk that fast. I may talk a lot, but not that fast. I think it's remarkable how you guys got all that in one breath is beyond me.
Well, we're very used to it, Joe.
Anyway, but it's been wonderful the last 3 weeks. The 3 Thursdays of January we've been at this, and I've had a great time. It's been marvelous working with you, and I love doing that interview, and I love doing those. You helped me so much with those readings, and I just had a great time. And I love you all here at New Jersey Network, as I love my fans.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I have to give a plug. Thank you for coming down. Thank the fans for coming down. I have to give a plug. Jonathan and a bunch of other people who came down here were provided free transportation, and so I must therefore tell you that transportation was provided for by White Cloud Limousine Service with several locations in New Jersey, and the Accent Limousine Service serving Central Jersey from Carteret. Thanks, everybody, for attending the Dark Shadows Festival. I'd like to throw it back to Drix for one last word. Drix?
Okay, Frank, I want you to see what's going on back here. We've got our new arts and entertainment editor here taking a pledge, Mr. Scott Moniak. And so I could talk for just a minute to Mr. Stuart Weiss. He's an assistant state treasurer, and we want to know what he has to say about sending in money. Stu?
Drix, I just want to ask everybody involved with government, involved with organizations to please contribute money to New Jersey Network. You know, this network has done such a terrific job over the years. For example, the Ethiopian telethon that we just had, that Governor Kane hosted with you and with some other stars around the metropolitan area, was such a success. And we did that because of New Jersey Network. And that's why I want everybody, please, the people that called for the telethon, now's the time to call here and support the network.
Stu, that's a good point. We did put on that telethon. I don't know if anybody else could have pulled that together in 2 weeks. All of you supported the telethon. I think Stu's asking you to support us tonight, right?
You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay, Stu's from Wayne. We want all you folks from Wayne to call up and pledge that support. If you've just discovered New Jersey Network, you're about to discover a great show coming your way in just a minute. It's Class Acts Garden State Profiles. I've been giving my friend Frank Tenzar here a hard time tonight. He's one of the incredibly talented people here at the network, and his show with Connie Francis and Melba Moore is coming your way right now. Here we have Class Acts coming your way. See you later.